Alright, so it's time for another one of these. Um, it's been a little while just because my next door neighbors are doing construction. And this is one of the first times I've actually been able to record during the day because they are next door and all you would hear if I recorded was like brrrr, boom, 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 boom. It's been driving me crazy. Like I literally have screamed a couple times because I don't know what it is. There's this one tool or whatever it is. I don't know. It is the most grating sound I've ever heard, and they'll just keep it going. And I'm just like, oh, God. I've literally screamed several times, and it's been terrible. And then I asked the building manager, I'm like, how long is this going to go on? And they're like, oh, at the quickest, it's going to be a month and a half worth of construction. So I'm just going to have to deal. If it becomes too much, I am just probably going to have to abandon ship. Like, just leave my house for a few hours and then come back because they stop at night. Thankfully, they stop at night. But that's not what I want to talk about today. So scheduling wise, I have to record this right immediately after my counseling session. So, yeah, we got the candle and the lighter again today because this is going to be one of those, I guess, heavier topics. And so, oh God, yeah. So let's just jump right into it because I have all the feelings right now and I got my lolly beats going. So, fuck it, let's go. So lighting this candle, my beautiful lighter. It is now lit. Let's just talk about this bitch. So, blackness. What does it mean? And I know it sounds so philosophical, but my major thing is that even though black people say being black is not a monolith, there are many ways to be black. There seems to be only a few acceptable ways to be black. Though I don't know if anybody who eventually watches this, I guess. My last video got a comment and I was like, somebody is watching this? But for those of you who are out there, I am what I self-diagnosed geek and nerd. Though before all of the nerd and geek culture was cool, I was into it. I still am into it. So I played Dungeons and Dragons, I played the video games, I read comic books, I did cosplay, I watched a lot of anime, all these kind of things, right? When I was growing up, these things were absolutely unacceptable for black people to enjoy or to partake in. Like, I never forget when even things like I enjoy going to the theater, like I'm a theater arts student. So I would start talking about, opera and theater, and other black people would be like, man, that's white people shit. Why you like that white people shit? If I had $1 for every time a black person has said to me that that is white people shit, I would not need to work anymore. I wouldn't. I would have so much money. And it's just, why do black people have such a narrow definition of what it means to be black? Now you see black cosplayers, right? And now you see some, not many, it's still very white, but some black people playing Dungeons and Dragons. But why do we have such a narrow definition of what it is okay for black people to do? What it is okay for black people to partake in? What is okay for how a black person to sound? Because apparently I don't sound black. Whatever the hell that means. Like, for so many years, I was told, oh, you sound like a white girl. You sound like a white girl. Man, why are you talking like white girl? You a Oreo. Basically meaning that I'm black on the outside, but I'm white on the inside. And that one in particular was extremely insulting. Because if you are black on the outside, there is no way you could possibly be white on the inside, because by virtue of being black, especially growing up in America, you will be treated like a black person. You will go through the racism, the prejudice, the unequal treatment, all of the things, the struggle. You will experience the struggle. And by experiencing the struggle, there is no way in hell that you could possibly be white. So why? I don't know. And that's one of the things that I've had to deal with my whole life, is this kind of unjustified hatred towards me. Or not, maybe not hatred, but like unjustified animosity towards me from my own people. Like especially when I was in high school, I was, punk. I was goth. So I would go to Hot Topic and buy all the goth stuff, or like go to the thrift store and find like the most amazing pieces and like sew them together and create my own gothic punk look. And other black people hated it. They'd be like, "Man, you look stupid. What the hell you wearing? Freaking white ass girl shit. What the fuck?" And keep in mind, this wasn't just students. This wasn't just like my fellow classmates. Adults were saying stuff like this to me too. Like saying stuff like this to a child that's still growing and developing and trying to find their identity. So I was just never black enough, despite being obviously black. Like, if you were confused about my race before now, like, for some reason, if you were confused, don't let this wonderful lighting fool you. I am chocolate through and through. Like, so, yeah. Like, what? Why is it that in order to be seen as black, you have to meet a certain number of expectations instead of just understanding that we all share the same experience, or at least similar experiences, and share similar culture, and that is what combines us and unites us. So it was everything. It was like, oh, you don't listen to so and so rapper? Oh, you ain't black. Just because I don't listen to that particular rapper doesn't mean that I'm not black. Like, I don't know, when I was younger, I just honestly preferred rock music. Remember, I was punk, all right? My Chemical Romance was my jam. Simple Plan, like Good Charlotte, AFI, Metallica, like all these guys, like these were the people that I were listening to. And they're like, you don't listen to enough black people. I'm like, no, show me black people. I will probably listen to some stuff. Like, I like Lupe Fiasco. I like Childish Gambino. I like, who else? I just, I don't know. I was not growing up exposed to that kind of music. Actually, I like older black music. So, like, give me some Tina Turner, some Whitney Houston, some Erykah Badu, some Lionel Richie, some, like, that. Since my mom is older, right? My mom was the same age as other people's grandparents, right? So when other people's parents were introducing them to, I guess, quote unquote, more modern black music, so like Nelly, or like, I don't know, whoever the hell else. Well, I only say Nelly because my dad met him once. I was listening to older generation black music. I was listening to Motown, right? So I know Diana Ross, I know the Supremes. Like, that is what, when I think black music, that is where my mind goes first, right? It doesn't automatically go to like hip hop and rap artists. There are a couple that I know, but like for me, it's still been a process of discovering these artists. So like, and sometimes the songs just don't appeal to me. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't want to sit there and listen to someone rap about booty for 5 minutes. For like 5 minutes. Or like listen to someone calling women bitches and hoes and all this kind of stuff. Like, some of the beats be catchy, I'm not gonna lie. But like, it's not my jam. I'd rather go listen to Tina Turner talk about what love got to do with it, Like, that's just me. And so because I have more of an eclectic music taste, I guess, like it wasn't even just that. I would listen to rock. I still listen to rock. I listen to, some rap, some hip hop, some R&B, soul. That's where I am too. But I would also listen to like K-pop or J-pop or opera. Like I have a bunch of traditional operas on my on my musical playlist. Like I musical theater. I got a bunch of soundtracks. like like a bunch of soundtracks. And so like or alternative, indie, country. I like banjo music. like the whatever you would hear while driving through Louisiana and you turn on the radio station. I actually like to listen to that. I like bluegrass, okay? Like if it's good music, it's good music, and if it's good music, I'm going to listen to it. So I was made fun of for that a lot. I would play a song that like I really enjoy, and because it was not like rap or hip hop or whatever, it would be like, man, what is this shit? Like I would play Bollywood music, and I'd be like, man, what the fuck are they even saying? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's a good song. It's from one of the movies that I like to watch. Like it doesn't matter if they're singing in Hindi. Like the sound is good. Oh, like it's I like it. Why does me liking this take away from my blackness in your eyes? Why is being black such a narrow, narrow field? Like, I don't understand this concept. Like, this is for white people. Why? Why? No one has ever been able to give me a good answer to this question, mind you. It's just like, black people are, on average, mentally are so limiting because I guess it's because however they grew up, did not encompass all of these things, so they feel like if anything from comes from outside of like their sphere of understanding, oh, it's not black. So that was a huge source of pain and trauma for me growing up, is like my own people hate me and I have no idea why. Like my own people hate me and I have no idea why. Like I would want to share my passion. Sorry, pollution is high today. As always here in China, I would want to share my passions and my interests with my classmates and stuff, but all I had was like with the, Mexican kids or with the other white kids and with the other white kids, with the white kids in the school, because almost no other black people would even bother to listen to me. And this has gone on throughout my years in college and even now into my adulthood. Is still like, you're not black enough. Like here in China, since there are so few of us, well, comparatively few of us, I am accepted into black circles. Yes, but there is still this feeling of ASMR. All the sounds you will hear me hitting, not a professional production, guys, at all. But there is still this sense of I'm black, so you are accepted, but you are still like, this is the rest of us. You are still like out here. You are not quite in the blackness circle, so to speak, because you like these things. Like in the group, I'll start talking about like comic books or Dungeons and Dragons. Like I put together a D&D for charity, Dungeons and Dragons for charity event here. And I was advertising it in some of the black groups, and they're like, man, what the fuck? Dungeons and Dragons, that's for white people. It is literally a charity to raise money for the only English-speaking suicide hotline in China. You would think that would be important, but more important than the perceived whiteness or blackness of a fucking board game, but it's not. So I had one black person come to that event. Everyone else that came was white. Or like I had a family member that wanted to buy a dog. And I was like, buy a dog? Why buy? You can adopt. Like there are plenty of great dogs in the shelters that need homes and, things like that. And he straight up told me, he's like, man, adoption is for white people. What the hell? What? 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 I'm sorry. It's like, the more I think about it, like, I just couldn't fathom that. Because he had done the research. He wanted a particular type of dog because these dogs were known for being more protective and they were big and he wanted to train. He basically wanted to have like a little guard dog. Not a little, a big guard dog because the dog is huge. But telling me, someone who has adopted all 3 of her pets, like all 3 of my babies I found on the street and I took them home. Adopted. I am involved with a lot of adoption and rescue groups here in China. And for him to sit there straight face and tell me adoption is for white people, well then fuck, I guess I really am white then. And I don't think people understand the full connotations behind what they say, because adoption is a very noble act. It's like, you care, you open up your home, you nurture. Sometimes a lot of these animals are traumatized by what they've gone through and they need to be slowly rehabilitated. A lot of the times they have disabilities. All 3 of my babies have disabilities. And so that's not cheap. It's springtime is coming. One of my babies has asthma, so she's like, I gotta take her to go get treatment. Like, so you're saying by virtue of black adoption being for only white people, that black people are in some way incapable of showing this same amount of, like, ASMR, empathy and compassion for animals. Why are you falling? What? I tried to be smooth about it, but hell, if you're not going to cooperate, then damn. And there it goes again. Oh, well, I guess it's just too heavy. But so, like, it's just shit like that. Like, ignorant. Just ignorant. Like, I'm sorry, this is more of a rant than anything else, but fuck it, it's my channel, and I can do whatever the hell I want. I assumed nobody would be watching these, but I got a comment on one of them, so for that one person that is watching these videos, this is for you, babe. But, but yeah, what is this? I really want, and it's better now, a bit better. Some things are becoming more acceptable for black people to openly enjoy. Like, for example, comic books, right? Comic books are super mainstream now. 10 years ago, they weren't. Alright, if you were one of those geeks that went to a comic book store, people would give you side eye. Now, comic book stores, where it's at. So I've seen more and more black people like reading comic books. I've seen more and more black people doing cosplay, which, great, clap and a half. Awesome. But it still hurts. Because it's like, oh, now y'all like this. When I was a little kid, going to my anime conventions, dressed up as Winry from Full Metal Alchemist, y'all didn't show me no love. Costumes that I made myself. When I was in college, mind you, and I dressed up as Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars, made the entire headpiece and everything myself, where was the love? No love. However, I did receive love from white people. And that's my biggest thing, and why it's a bit more hurtful is because I did, in my pursuits of my interests and hobbies, I did receive a lot more love and support from non-black people, which I think is absolutely sad. Like, I would wear a costume. Black people would be like, man, you look stupid as hell. White people, oh my god, that's so creative. You made that yourself. Oh my god, I wish I could sew. Oh, you look amazing. Oh, I see the difference? Or like playing Dungeons and Dragons. When I DM'd my first game, I told people, yeah, I was a dungeon master for the first time. They're like, no, the fuck is that, man? Dumbass white people shit. And other people, my players, wow, oh my god, that was so much fun. It's such a great story. Oh my god, you did all the voices so well. Like, oh man, I was really tense about this one battle. Like, you see? And so people wondered why, when I was a child, that I had a trauma of being around large groups of black people. And they're like, why don't you want to be around black folk, man? You just hate your own people. And I'm like, no, because y'all traumatizing. Like, y'all really traumatizing. Like, I felt like I couldn't be myself around other black people. Like, doing all the hood, I don't know, not hood, but my family, some of them are straight up hood. But, like, I don't know, being more stereotypically black felt to me like putting on a performance. And I didn't want to do that. I just, one, it's degrading. Like, you shouldn't have to be to be considered black, because black people are not a monolith. And we say this, but I don't think we really mean it. And that's the truth. So, yeah, that's all I have for today. That is my rant. That is, you know, it's quiet. I'm gonna go relax and plan more Dungeons and Dragons events, because fuck it. My race does not dictate what I can and cannot enjoy. And that's that.